Happy Tuesday. Welcome into another Big East Fall Sports Update. I'm Meghan Caffrey, joined alongside my partner, John Fanta. Big East teams dominated this weekend in non-con play all over the place, in volleyball, in soccer, and in field hockey. John, what has impressed you the most about Big East teams with their non-conference performances?
What's impressed me the most is the way that they set the tone early on in non-conference play. I look at volleyball, and the two teams that were picked at the top of the preseason poll, Creighton and Marquette, have both delivered consistent results. Creighton taking Nebraska to the limit in a 5-set thriller, then following that up with wins over Iowa State and Wichita State. And then Marquette beating USC, a top 10 team, inside the Al McGuire Center on Friday. That's a statement-making win. So they challenge themselves, they get it done, and particularly in volleyball and then in men's soccer with a slew of good results, it sets up for conference play. That's how the conference can collectively get a bunch of teams in the NCAA tournament.
Well, John, you said it right there. These non-conference schedules are setting Big East teams up for competitive conference play. We'll get into the conference schedule coming up. We'll also talk about the big wins from this weekend, including an interview from Marquette's Allie Barber. They topped number 10 USC. But before that, John, let's go take a look at our top 5 plays.
Let's do it here. And coming in at number 5, it's the Villanova Wildcats. We've talked about non-conference statement makers. The Wildcats did just that with a win over Utah. That kill finds itself just inside the line. And what a beautiful diving dig there.
Checking in at number 4, Creighton men's soccer. They shut out Memphis. And how about this goal? Luke Hawkinson. This one looks like it's going out, but he saves it. One more look right here. The Blue Jays beat Memphis 2-0.
Absolutely brilliant. Let's go to number 3, to the Al McGuire Center. Marquette and USC, and there it is, the winning point as the Golden Eagles get it done. The block at the net, they get a top 10 win. Big time.
Number 2, back to the pitch, Providence women's soccer. They beat Harvard on Sunday. Look at this goal. Top of the corner, Hannah McNulty. She gets 2 goals on the day. The Friars beat Harvard 3-1. And, of course, the celebration afterwards.
And then at number 1, it's Anna Kowalty and Kari Zumak. After a long scramble, this one went back and forth with Wichita State. Shockers trying to do everything they can to get it by that Creighton defense. And the Blue Jays are relentless, folks. Look at this back and forth action. The amount of hits between these two teams before a point. Rejection. Zumak and Welty combine for it as the Jays, they take down the Shockers and they just keep on rolling. Kirsten Bernthal Booth's team looks like one that can go very deep in the NCAA tournament. I cannot wait for Creighton and Marquette. It's about 2 weeks away. That is going to be such a big-time national NCAA volleyball showdown.
Well, John, let's stick with volleyball in our first point. Big East women's volleyball having a huge non-conference weekend. They faced a combined 4 top 25 teams. 2 wins from that, including Villanova taking down number 21 Utah and Marquette topping number 10 USC.
This was impressive. And what really stands out to me about this Blue Jays team is they can beat you in a lot of different ways. When their serve receives on, look, it changes everything. Nor alone when they're getting on the attack. Jaylee Winters, who's the Big East Defensive Player of the Week, she does it all. She does it all for this Creighton team. And then for Villanova.
John, in Villanova, Emma Decker was really the story for the Wildcats this weekend. She finished with 107 assists, including 49 in their win against Utah.
And then we go to Marquette, and this is a Golden Eagles team. We know about Allie Barber, but they're getting contributions from all over. It's a balanced squad. Offensively, Marquette is just so tough to contain. They can hurt you from so many different angles. Look at Hope Wirtz with the 17 kills. I said it, this team's got multiple threats, and it showed against the Trojans.
And John, after this weekend, Marquette and Creighton both jumped 4 spots in the latest AVCA volleyball poll to number 10 and 21, respectively. They just continue to win. And John, I sat down and I spoke with Marquette Junior outside hitter Allie Barber about the success her team is having. Welcome into the Big East Digital Network, Marquette Junior outside hitter Allie Barber. The Golden Eagles went 2-1 this weekend, including a huge win over number 10 USC on Friday night. Allie, Friday night was your home opener. How exciting was it to make a statement in front of your home crowd?
Yeah, it was amazing. We had such good support from all of our fans. I know we had a lot of other student athletes from Marquette there, and we just really felt the energy in the arena. So it was a great game to open with.
What type of energy does a packed Al bring to your team?
A ton. We had students so close to the court, so we could really feel that energy, and I'm sure the other team was feeling the pressure too with everyone cheering there.
Allie, the last time your team beat a top 10 team was USC. They were ranked number 7 at the time. You had 6 kills and 5 blocks. That was your debut at Marquette. You were just a freshman. What do you remember from that moment?
Yeah, that was our first game. It was definitely, it was one to remember. Like, as a freshman coming in, just being able to play on the court is amazing. I didn't have a lot of expectations for that match, and that was definitely where it was a little bit different for this one. We knew coming in that we had a great chance at USC, and I think we executed really well this year.
Your team's ranked for the first time since 2013. How has the program evolved since you've come to Marquette?
We've put in a ton of hard work. I know that our program this summer, we've been here for a long time in the weight room, open gyms, working with coaches, and just putting in a lot of hard work like outside the scenes and off the court, and it's really paying off right now.
What are some of the things that your team likes to do off the court to maybe bond a little bit?
Yeah, definitely in the fall it's a little bit trickier because we don't have as much free time, but when we're here over the summer, we like to go to the beach a lot. Lake Michigan's close by, so that's always fun. We've gone apple picking in the fall, and also supporting other Marquette teams is really fun for us.
What are some of the other teams that you guys will go out to support?
Well, right now both soccers are in season, so we made it to a women's soccer game, and that was really cool to see and just support other athletes on the field.
You're a Wisconsin native. What are some of the places that you love to go around Marquette?
Yeah, well, in Milwaukee, we have the historic Third Ward, so that's really fun. So going out to dinner with friends is a great place. I did grow up in Wisconsin, and this summer I love going boating and kind of hanging out on the water. So that's a really cool part of having family close by, is I'm still able to do that.
Your team was ranked the Big East preseason favorite for the first time. You're now 7-2 on the season. What has your approach been to this season?
Yeah, we've just tried to take each game one at a time and really focus and preparing during the week with scouting reports and focusing on what we want to get better at and not taking anything for granted.
Well, Allie, thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate it. Best of luck the rest of the season.
Thank you so much.
John, we talk about how impressive this Marquette team is. We talked about it in the interview with Allie. They jumped into the rankings for the first time since 2013. They were 25. Now they're ranked at 21. So they just keep going up, and it seems like they're unstoppable at this point.
This is a team that, and a program for that matter, that has continually grown under Ryan Tice. And Allie Barber is a big part of that. She's evolved as a player. She was a star as a freshman, just keeps picking it up. Now for the Golden Eagles, it's about attention to detail in conference play. For both Creighton and Marquette, in a league where you're playing Friday, Saturday stretches, especially when you go on the road, Megan, like when you have to go to a Seton Hall and then get up the next night and play a St. John's less than 24 hours later, that's where you want to avoid those slip-ups. So that's what the conference regular season crown will come down to, and coaches always say it. A regular season title to them means more because it takes more of a body of work. So that's what I'm fascinated to see Creighton and Marquette go through the entire league.
I'm excited to watch them as well, John. Let's turn to the pitch now. Big East men's soccer. They went 7-4 in their last weekend of non-con play, including really big wins. Villanova, they were originally supposed to play on Friday, but due to weather, their game versus Penn State was moved to Saturday. And then Providence right here against George Washington.
This is well done by the Friars. What a beautiful goal. And for Providence, this is a team that had a tough season last year, but Tiago Mendonca, remember the name, the Poland native, with 3 goals already for the Friars.
And then Creighton, they went 2-0 last week, beating South Florida and Memphis. They cracked the coaches poll this week at number 25. They just continue to succeed.
This Jays team is deep, and they want to flip the script from last year. They had a disappointing last season, bowed out in the first round of the Big East men's soccer tournament. Now they're trying to flip things around, and we're seeing Creighton do just that. Their defense has been exceptional thus far, powered by Hakeem Ward.
Yes. And then let's also look at Xavier. The Musketeers, they beat Cincinnati 3-1. They came into this preseason taking down top 10 teams. They beat number 2 Indiana 2-1 in the preseason, then had a draw with number 7 Michigan.
And tonight, a top 10 team comes to town. They will host the Kentucky Wildcats in a huge showdown. That one comes up tonight at the Xavier Soccer Complex. It is going to be a great atmosphere, so keep it locked to @Xavier MSoc for the updates as the Musketeers look for a statement-making win that would really bolster their non-conference resume.
Women's soccer has also been having a lot of statement wins this season as well, and that's been fueled by their defense, specifically the goaltenders, John.
You're so right. And when I look at Big East women's soccer, I think of Ariel Scheckman for Georgetown. I look at Xavier and Tony Bizzarro, who had a really stellar season last year. We saw the Musketeers as a dark horse in this conference last year. Molly Erickson getting it done for DePaul in net. The list goes on and on. Shelby Hogan for Providence and Sam Lopes. It is going to be so tough to score in Big East women's soccer because you've got veteran goalkeepers who know how to put up clean sheets. The most fascinating situation, though, Megan, is Butler because they have Hannah Lidke as well as Leonie Dugas. That's right, a tandem goalkeeper system, and not the type of thing where one plays one match and the other comes in for the next match. No, they rotate at halftime, Dugas and Lidke, and it's working out. It's funny. Butler's got the tandem goalkeeper system. They also have the tandem coaches system with coaches Allman and St. John. So there's something about pairs of dogs.
Very true, John. I mean, and you had to look at Georgetown as well, too. They're not switching their goalies throughout the game.
No need to.
No need to. But Ariel Scheckman and Lauren Gallagher, they've only let 3 goals combined past them throughout their 7 games this season. So they're just playing at a really high level.
There's no question about it. I mean, when I look at Georgetown women's soccer, there's some exceptional notes about them. They've outscored their opponents 10-3. And I was talking about Butler just a moment ago. The Dogs have outscored their opponents, and they've played a good non-conference schedule. They've outscored their opponents 16-3, 26-6. Georgetown and Butler have combined to outscore their opponents. How do the rest of the teams in this conference, how are they going to score on those two? That's my biggest question going into Big East women's soccer play.
John, we keep mentioning it over and over, but once conference play starts, it's just going to be so exciting. We have so much anticipation building up to see all of these teams go up against one another. Let's take a look at Big East field hockey right now. Connecticut, Georgetown, and Old Dominion are all still undefeated through the 3rd weekend of play. Connecticut beating number 8 Virginia 3-0 on the road, and Old Dominion beating number 10 Syracuse as well this weekend.
That's right. The Huskies, Hoyas, and Monarchs are just 3 of 8 teams left in the entire country that are unbeaten. And I look at Old Dominion. They've been really, really good. I mean, 3 of their wins have come over ranked opponents. The 2-1 OT win over Virginia, and they don't allow much. Defensively, Old Dominion, they've really tightened up this year. They're outscoring their opponents by a combined score of 14-5. So this is not just UConn and Liberty in Big East field hockey. Old Dominion's a factor too. Really like the way that this league's taking shape.
Definitely, John. And now let's take a look at what's ahead for us with men's soccer this weekend, the first weekend of conference play. I'm so excited about it. I know you are too. We just keep hyping it up. What matches are going to stick out to you this weekend?
Xavier and Georgetown. For the Musketeers and Hoyas to open up conference play against one another, you can't write a better script. It's a rematch of the conference title game last year, which was absolutely epic. A double overtime golden goal thriller for the Hoyas. And then I look at Butler and Creighton, okay? In this series, Creighton started out 7-0-1 in the first 8 meetings between these two teams. Since then, the Dogs have taken the last 2, and Butler came back from down 2-0 last year to win 3-2. Creighton remembers that. Are the Jays for real? Well, they're ranked number 25 in the poll this week, and Creighton has a chance to make a statement against Butler. I love the way Sven Koenig, as well as Luke Hawkinson, as well as Akeem Ward. Creighton's got options, Megan, and this can be their time to show. No, the Dogs, they're going down in this matchup. So Georgetown and Xavier, as well as Creighton and Butler, I've got my eye on those.
John, I think another interesting match to keep your eyes on this weekend is going to be Villanova-Marquette. Marquette's coming off a loss. They're fueled by that, and they're really going to want to make a statement against Villanova, who's proving to be a huge challenge this year.
Marquette coming off 3 straight losses, but they faced a challenging schedule. And for Villanova, Tom Carlin has put together the story, not only in Big East soccer, but one of the best stories in NCAA men's soccer. Villanova was picked to finish 8th in the Big East. They're ranked 13th in the country, and according to those around the program, they believe that this is the highest Villanova men's soccer has ever been ranked. That's exceptional. So I'm watching that one. I love St. John's Seton Hall. The Metro Derby will be very intense. It's always physical. Can't wait to call it. And then DePaul looks like they've got some firepower to make a move in this league. They face a Providence team that had a disappointing last season. 2 teams that want to get started off on the right foot.
And John, everyone can catch those 5 Big East matches all on the Big East Digital Network. You said you're going to be on the call this weekend?
Yeah, get your Fox Sports app. Get the Fox Sports app. You can watch all 5 matches. Providence and DePaul starts the party off. That's the Lone Friday game, and then there's 4 on Saturday. It's going to be great.
Now let's take a look at some of the national rankings that we have for our teams.
Men's soccer, Villanova and Creighton, both in the top 25. And then I look at Georgetown and Butler. 3 straight weeks that women's soccer has had multiple teams in the poll, and that's the first time since 2013.
I mean, what does that say about these Big East teams this year, John?
It says that this is a multiple bid conference in all of these sports. There's no doubt in my mind that Creighton and Marquette are dancing in volleyball. Men's soccer could have 5 teams go to the NCAA tournament. 5? Yeah, they could have 5.
You heard it here first. 5 teams from men's soccer. What's your take on the women's soccer?
Women's soccer is a league that is bolstered by Georgetown and Butler. The middle of the league is anybody's game. So there's just so much parity there, but we do know Georgetown and Butler, they've got the quality to go dancing as well.
So let's take a look at volleyball now with what teams are in the national polls as well.
Creighton and Marquette, these 2 teams have been really strong, and on the outside I look at Winters and Barber charging the way. These 2 teams are going to meet in Omaha in just 2 weeks. Cannot wait for that matchup.
John, I think we give so much hype to Marquette and Creighton, but you can't help but give the hype to them because they're playing at a really high level right now, and as the season progresses, they just keep putting up more and more numbers. Allie Barber, 1 kill away from a career high this past weekend against USC. So as they're getting their chemistry is developing through this season, because with turnover each season you have new players, they're just getting better.
Well, and that's why people thought that Creighton could take a step back. They were picked to finish 2nd in the Big East, but they're the 3-time reigning champions in the conference. And the Jays haven't taken a step back. In fact, they've taken further steps forward. It's the type of program where now they just reload. Kirsten Bernthal Booth has built it into that. And for Marquette with a big matchup against Wisconsin this week, it's a program that we just talked about it with Barber, with Wirtz. They've got several different ways that they can beat you offensively. When Creighton and Marquette square off, I cannot wait to see the outside hitting in that match. It's going to come down to who can step up with the key digs.
And the national recognition for Marquette has really been a long time coming for them as well. They've put in the work coming into this season, and now they're finally getting the recognition for all of the women who have come through the program. Now they've cracked the top, and now they keep getting better week after week after week.
This league is soaring in volleyball. Villanova as well with the win over Utah. So I'm fascinated to see how things play out in conference play leading up all the way in the Big East Volleyball Championship, which this year is in Omaha, and atmospheres matter in this conference.
And I will be there. I'm so excited for that. There will be plenty of action for you to all watch this weekend. John will be on the call for Big East men's soccer. Be sure to tune in and check it out on your Fox Sports Go app. Until then, I'm Meghan Caffrey and John Fanta. We'll see you next week.